The National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws presents NORML Show Live, Marijuana Nation. Now, here's your host, NORML's Outreach Coordinator, Radical Russ Belville.
Yes, good day, tokers and tokettes, and welcome. It is Monday, May 7th, 2012, and it's got to be 420 somewhere in the world. Welcome, everyone. I am back from Cinco de Mota. Notice anything different? That's right, I got the Cinco de Mota luchador mask on. I'm ready to go wrestling the drug czar. Anytime he's ready, we're ready.
The effects of marijuana prohibition are felt by all Americans in every walk of life, regardless of race, creed, color, religion, social status, wealth, gender, sexual orientation, or even one's use or non-use of marijuana. As the marijuana smokers lobby, NORML hears the stories of these average Americans and brings them to the attention of our policymakers and our fellow citizens in this segment we call NORML Newsmakers. All
right, folks, welcome back. As you know, I just got back from Dallas-Fort Worth, where we had an incredible march and an event there sponsored by DFW NORML. They did a great job setting it up. It was at the Dallas City Hall, which is an amazing little plaza that they had there. You know, big Texas flag and American flag just fluttering in the breeze. It was a gorgeous sunny day, and they had some of the most amazing bands. Oh, my goodness. The music there was fantastic, and all the bands were good, but the one band that just really set my hair on fire, what little of it I still have left, was a band called the FNAs. I mean, right there, Kaliko, that's a name.
The FNAs.
The FNAs. They were effing good is what they were.
I'm sure.
Now, this band consisted of, it was a typical funk lineup, right? Bass, drums, guitar, sax, trumpet, and lead vocalist. But the thing that was so compelling to me when I first saw them come up, first of all, their drummer, is that their drummer, not only did he have just a pretty sparse standard kit to play drums on, but sitting right next to it, to his right hand, was a 66-key keyboard. Had a keyboard going there, and many times through many songs would put his right drumstick away while he continues to drum with his left hand and keep the funky beat playing keyboard lines.
Wow, that's wild.
At the same time. I told these guys that they completely passed all test of badass mother. Shut your mouth.
Put a bullet to your head. I just smoke my cigarette. I turn to her and smile. Not my time yet to go. So here's what I replied. I said no, no. She said hey.
Also, Sean McAllister and Jenkins and Andrea and all the folks that I met up there did such a phenomenal job putting this thing on. I'm going to play some of this in the background here and just give you a look at what was going on there. Now, you don't see much because, of course, the distance that my camera is from the main stage there. I'll give you some of the audio, too, see if we can bring some of that up here. But now, if you're thinking, wow, where's all the people? Well, notice that it's about 90 degrees and sunny out. And so most of the people are in the shade behind here. So there's a lot of people sitting there watching this. But I had a chance to give one speech here.
I played music in bars for 15 years. I never had that happen to me. That's a first, man. That's beautiful.
Oh, I must tell people what that was, though. While this band, Pistol Packin' Mamas, was playing, another really good band. Some guy, had to be in his, I don't know, mid-40s, maybe early 50s, walked up right in front of the guitar player up there on the stage and dropped his pants and took off his shirt and stood there in his dingy gray underwear. It was like, and he just stood there and he was chatting with the guy and talking, just standing there in his underwear. So we were all afraid he was going to keep going. But the security took care of it. And what's really nice, too, there were 2 Dallas police officers there for the day, 2 Dallas City Hall security guards there for the day, and not a one of them had a problem with anybody puffing. Now, people were still keeping it discreet, you know, in the circles, cupping the joint and, not blowing in their face or anything. But there was plenty of smoking going on there at Dallas-Fort Worth, and at least 400 people showed up. And my favorite part, we marched from the Dallas City Hall with a police escort. We marched to Dealey Plaza. for those of our less historically astute listeners, that's the grassy knoll, man. That's the Kennedy assassination, right? We were right there, 400 stoners on the grassy knoll, on the grassy knoll, with all those cars coming by, and we got signs up, and they're honking, and we're pro legalization this, and it was just fantastic.
That's
it was one
wild, man. I would have loved to have been there.
We're done with locking people up for possessing a non-toxic medicine that helps you. We want to see an end to marijuana prohibition. We want to see our community come together on something instead of being divided on everything. Let's come together on something. Let us be proud of a crop. Let us be farmers again. Let us live off the fucking earth.
It was amazing. It was one of my favorite marches that we've ever done. Now, the sad part for me, Mr. Sedentary, Mr. Junk Food, Mr. Exercise is walking up and down the stairs to go to work. On the way back in the 90-degree heat, as I had been chanting and leading everybody, my left calf cramped up.
Oh.
And then when I stopped to deal with my left calf, my right calf cramped up. I was completely hobbled, could not move. The Dallas, the DFW truth enforcement car, the cop car with the green lights with the 420 on it and everything, had to come in to pick me up.
Oh, my
to
goodness.
take me back. I was so hobbled.
Wow.
So, yeah, eating lots of bananas.
You need to drink water,
Drinking lots
too.
of water,
Yeah.
but, my bad on that one. But a good time was had. And DFW just had me MC the whole event. So I introduced all the bands, and so as the bands are changing over, I was the speaker pretty much. Now, there was other speakers that came up as well, but I was able to introduce them, and in introducing them would give a little 3 or 5 minute speech. So there was a lot of speeches. They're up on our Ustream page in the video section. I haven't converted them. I want to edit them a bit and convert them and put them on YouTube, and I will. But let me give you just this one speech, and following it, this young lady performs the national anthem in the luchadore mask and did a phenomenal job. So let me give you this from Dallas-Fort Worth City Hall.
Hey, welcome to Cinco de Mota here. Are y'all members of NORML? Yeah! If you're not a member of NORML, go to DFWNORML.org and get involved because they need your support. It's, for every one of us that's out here who can stand up for our rights, there's a whole bunch of other people that got kids or jobs or families or legal situations where they can't stand up. So our voices have to be louder, and our stand has to be prouder. So you ready to be loud and proud? Are you ready to march for your rights? We're going to take Dallas. We're going to take the streets. Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Yeah, right. We're going to legalize this. But before we do, we are going to have a very special presentation. A young lady named Shayna is going to be coming up here. And one of the things I like about this, and one of the things I like about what Sean and DFW NORML are doing with their activism, is bringing patriotism to it. We're Americans, right? We got our rights. We love our Constitution. We love our country. And one of the reasons we're here fighting for the legalization of marijuana is because what this drug war has done to our country and done to our rights. If you look at the First Amendment, right, you got the freedom of speech, but some people can't speak out because it's about weed. Some places won't take weed advertisements because, they don't want to get in trouble. Freedom of religion, yeah, ask a Rastafarian what he thinks about his freedom of religion lately. First Amendment, right? Freedom of the press, the Obama administration, sorry, it's hard to keep track anymore. The Obama administration has recently, one of their U.S. attorneys has threatened weekly newspapers that run ads for dispensaries. Has threatened to take the newspapers to court for running those ads. Talk about your freedom of press being abridged. Second Amendment. Who here likes the Second Amendment? Anybody in Texas, I imagine? I imagine there might be a few people in Texas like the Second Amendment. Well, if you are a marijuana felon, if you've been caught growing a single plant, you are a felon and you no longer have a Second Amendment right. You don't get to have a firearm. Third Amendment. Now, a lot of people don't think about the Third Amendment. That's the one where it says the government couldn't put soldiers in your house during wartime. Now that one, nobody really thinks of the Third Amendment, but check this out. The U.S. Supreme Court recently ruled that cops could put a GPS on your car, in your driveway, on your private property, without a warrant. That to me is almost like putting a soldier in my house, so I'll count that one. Fourth Amendment, your right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures. Yeah, like how many of us have our Fourth Amendment rights anymore? Stop and frisks and all sorts of things that happen in the name of the war on drugs. Fifth Amendment right, Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, not incriminate yourself. What is a P-test other than incriminating yourself? We're enforced to incriminate ourselves all the time. Your Sixth Amendment right to a speedy trial, sometimes these trials last 2, 3, 4 years because there's so many of these drug trials going on, they can't get them through all the court systems. Your Seventh Amendment right to be able to sue people that do you wrong, to take people to civil trial and sue them if they did you wrong. How do you sue your dealer when he shorts you on an ounce? You can't, right? You don't have that right to sue because it's illegal. Your Eighth Amendment right against cruel and unusual punishment. Has anybody here heard of Daniel Chong? Not Tommy Chong, Daniel Chong? Woo! This just happened this 4/20 in San Diego, California. Kid named Daniel Chong, 23-year-old college student, University of California, San Diego, goes to a 4/20 party. He's hanging out, he's smoking weed with his friends. Boom, cops show up, DEA, it's a raid. Whoever's house it was running 18,000 ecstasy pills. Him and 8 of his friends get taken to the DEA headquarters. They get processed. DEA realizes, oh, these kids are just tokers. They weren't part of this. We'll just let them go. Unfortunately, they forgot about Daniel. They put Daniel in a 5x10 cell with no windows and forgot about him for 5 days with no food, no water, no human contact whatsoever. By day 2, he was so desperate he's drinking his own urine to survive. By day 3, he's starving so badly he starts looking through the room for anything to eat, anything he can eat. Tucked away, hidden in a blanket, he found a little baggie with white powder in it that some previous inmate had hidden in the cell. So desperate to eat because he hadn't eaten in 3 days, he ate it. It was 1.5 grams of methamphetamine. So now we got this 23-year-old kid, 3 days without food or water, no human contact, in a 5x10 windowless cell, starving, drinking his own urine, and high on meth. Then he gets so desperate, and oh, I forgot to mention, he's handcuffed this whole time. Handcuffed this whole time. He's so desperate, he takes his eyeglasses off, breaks the glass in his eyeglasses, carves "Sorry Mom" into his arm, and tries to commit suicide by swallowing the broken glass. After 5 days, the DEA finally opens the door and goes, oh shit. Oh, we forgot about this kid. They take him to the ER, he's got a perforated lung because of the glass. He's now suing the DEA for $20 million. So, tell me about my 8th Amendment right to be free from cruel and unusual punishment, huh? This kid wasn't even arrested, charged, didn't even have weed on him. 5 days, no food, no water, drinking his own urine, high on meth, trying to commit suicide. That's what the war on drugs does to our America. The 9th Amendment states that if there's rights in the Constitution, that we went and limited we put all these rights out, you know, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, all this stuff. But just because we didn't write down all the rights doesn't mean that they're not there. Like, there's no right in the Constitution to breathe air. Because duh. What are they going to do? Write down everything? You have a right to breathe air. You have a right to eat bananas. You have a right to pick worms out of your garden. I mean, they couldn't write everything down, right? Well, the 9th Amendment means that if people have a right, just because the Constitution doesn't say it, it doesn't mean they don't have it. Do you think a bunch of hemp farmers in the 1700s might have thought growing pot was a right? It was by law they had to grow pot. Of course they thought it was a right. And the 10th Amendment. The 10th Amendment says that rights that don't belong to the feds belong to the states. What greater states' right could there be than deciding whether or not the people of that state can use cannabis? So, I love that DFW NORML is bringing back patriotism. I love that shirt with the red, white, and blue pot leaf on it. Remember, we are Americans too. We deserve our rights. Never be ashamed of being a cannabis consumer. Is Shana ready? Do we have Shana? Shanna, apologize. Shanna is here?
It's Shanna. It's cool. I'm not freaked out. I'm wearing a little bit of a luchador mask today. For why? Because luchadors are free fighters. And I'd like to sing a little song that you've probably heard a couple times. And just remember to listen to the words, because there's a really important one that will be extra loud at the end. And it just hasn't happened yet. Alright?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last reveal, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, so that's our coverage of the DFW NORML Cinco de Mota. It was fantastic. We had such a great time there in Dallas. And folks, you've got to get involved. If you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, log on to dfwnorml.org. They're doubling in size in just a year. They've outgrown their current meeting space. Get involved.
You're listening to NORML Show Live, the voice of the marijuana nation.